Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hivemind, where today we've got a leftist narrative to dismantle. The left's been going on and on about Joe Biden's State of the Union address. What a massive win it was for Joe, and more importantly, it finally proved to the world that Joe Biden is a competent, strong leader, and not the dementia patient that we know him to be. And maybe for a second it seemed as though Democrats were going to get away with that one. But of course, you can't get away with that level of dishonesty. And Democrats have one very big problem with trying to keep this narrative up. Joe Biden keeps speaking, and you know what that means. In other words, reality is already starting to get in their way. As per usual, the latest Joe Biden defense is already falling apart. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. But before we get into anything, this video is actually brought to you guys by a longtime channel sponsor, so let's take a look. This video is brought to you guys by our great friends at American Hartford Gold. Folks, we're living through the age of fiat currency, but pretty soon we're going to completely transition away from paper money into a full digital dollar world, the central bank digital currency. In other words, the Fed is going to have total administrative control on every dollar in the economy and everybody's bank account. As we inevitably march into that system, there's only one way to protect yourself, or at least hedge a little, and that's by owning precious metals, gold and silver. That's where American Hartford Gold comes in, the highest rated gold company in the US, with thousands upon thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. With one phone call, they could deliver physical gold and silver straight to your doorstep or directly into your IRA or 401k. And best of all, on top of how easy it is, American Hartford Gold is currently running a promotion where you could get up to $5,000 of free silver on qualifying orders. One phone call or text message away. All you gotta do is call 844-440-1005 or text Hivemind, one word, to 65532. That's Hivemind, one word, to 65532. A huge thank you to American Hartford Gold. Now back to the video. Alright, so I guess we were supposed to enter the era of Dark Brandon, but it seems as though even Democrat media figures aren't exactly buying it.
So guess what? That means I can run 5 miles now? That means I'm in shape? What the hell does that mean that Joe Biden looked like he had energy last night? The question is, can you rely on him to do that for 4 years, starting next year? That's the question. He gives a speech for an hour and 10 minutes or so on a weeknight in March of 2024, and suddenly that warrants 4 more years for a dude that's going to turn 82 years of age in November and is expected to give 4 more years after that. I said before and I'll say it again. It is an utter disgrace that in the year 2024, the Democratic Party, who calls itself progressives, is begging and relying upon an 82-year-old to come save the day for 2025, 2026, 2027, into 2028. And if you think that an hour speech offsets all of that, you smoking crack.
Based.
The quote here is absolutely perfect. He gives a speech for an hour and 10 minutes or so, and suddenly that warrants 4 more years. If you think that an hour speech offsets all of that, then you're smoking crack. To be honest, it almost feels like a liberal hive mind quote, because that's pretty much exactly how I would put it. The standard is so low with this guy. I think a meme that I posted with one of my videos the other day pretty much sums it up perfectly. I'll get it up here on the screen. It was something to the effect of Joe Biden finishes a coherent sentence, then a photo of NASA scientists in some sort of command center celebrating victoriously, essentially representing the Democrat tone anytime Joe Biden manages to somehow stumble his way through public speaking. He got through the State of the Union and only had 4 or 5 brain melt moments. Wow, amazing, as if that undoes years and years of clear Joe Biden dementia. Of course it doesn't. One cruddy State of the Union address doesn't undo 4 years of my butt's been wiped Biden. That's not how it works. I mean, you could try to live in that fantasy for 24 hours, but Biden simply speaking will take you out of that fantasy real quick. How many days has it been since his address? How many days has it been since his speech? I don't know exactly, probably 3 or 4. Well, in the last 3 or 4 days. In the last 7 72 plus hours. Joe Biden's been doing some events and he's been an absolute freaking gaffe machine. It's never ending with this guy. We did a gaffe montage 3 days ago and now we're doing another one. That's how much content there is. Here's Joe Biden struggling to read the teleprompter.
And what they're going to do is to ensure a national, really endanger our national security. They're going to expend, are they going to expand personal freedoms? Well, that's what we're going to do. Folks, we have come through pretty tough times. And I know we got a lot more to do. We had to stay off, we had to start off by vaccinating America. Trump stood flat-footed during that period of time before the pandemic.
Here's Joe Biden struggling to speak English.
Tremendous amount of things you can cut. Let me be precise. Tremendous amount of things you can do, not cut. He said, but the bottom line is, he's still at it.
Here's Joe Biden calling John McCain his predecessor.
Not long ago, my buddy John McCain passed away. My predecessor, friend, that's how he ended his career.
All this and much more from the video we played a couple days ago in the span of a few days. Does one State of the Union address filled with gaffes undo everything we know about Joe Biden? Absolutely not, and if you suggest that, just as Stephen A. put it, you smoking crack. Well, it seems as though the Hunter Parmesan has certainly grown quite popular amongst Democrat ranks in Washington. I think Stephen A.'s description might be accurate here, especially for this guy, Raphael Warnock, who claims that the guy that I just showed you, the old man who can't speak English, well, Raphael is making the argument that that guy is so incredibly great that he should be compared to historically great characters.
And as I sat the other night and listened to the president's speech, I'll tell you, I said to my colleagues, I don't know if that was Joe Biden or Joe Louis, because the man came out fighting and he never let up, and he's not going to let up between now and November.
I don't know if that was Joe Biden or Joe Louis. You gotta be on something for that to be your take, to be pushing that level of copium. All I'm seeing post State of the Union is Democrat copium of the highest degree. Parmesan must be involved. And actually, speaking of copium, and might as well debunk this ridiculous leftist talking point, I keep seeing leftoids on Twitter repost this Newsweek article. Joe Biden suddenly leads Donald Trump in multiple polls. People are linking this, claiming that after Joe Biden's stunning, incredible, brave, historic State of the Union address, that all of a sudden now Joe Biden's spiking in the polls, leading Donald Trump. But let's just debunk that real quick. There actually haven't been any major polls released post State of the Union address, so we don't know the effect. Joe Biden was up nationally in the latest Emerson and Morning Consult poll, actually as well as the TIPP poll. All of these were conducted in early March before his State of the Union address. The rhetoric that you're seeing suggesting that Joe Biden is experiencing a big polling bump is complete fake news. Even though he's up 1 or 2 points in a couple polls, he's still down in the average, and he would need to be ahead by probably 4 or 5% to win in the Electoral College. Joe Biden's behind in every major battleground state in all of these polls. So that's pretty much it, just a little reality check here for leftoids. Joe Biden isn't surging, and it doesn't seem like this whole State of the Union address narrative is having much of an impact at all. Alright, that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.